as they say, hey, technical difficulties in the age of COVID. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how it is producing a radio show. So, man, stuff happens. And but we're glad to be here with you on this morning from 6:10 a.m. to 7 a.m. The Power Hour. Sitting across from me is Bishop Dwayne David Rice.
And sitting across from me is Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler. What's going on, sir?
And in the studio, frazzled a little bit, is Kawesa.
Good morning.
Did you catch your breath yet, Kawesa?
Not yet.
Yeah.
So I just have a question, because text messaging is kind of hard to tell what's really going on. So when you said you had to grab a mouse, are we talking like a real mouse or a mouse for the computer? I've been really kind of trying to figure this out. Oh, okay. Okay. Because if there was a mouse in there with you by yourself, that would also make sense.
It might, yeah.
Voice is like, I ain't going near that computer. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. So listen, folks, let's get right to it. I mean, a lot going on, and perhaps the Trump administration set up our technical difficulties because they didn't want us to get into it this week.
Oh, yeah, I was ready. I'm ready for that.
All right, so let's go right to the main topic of the day. Deal or no deal, the compromise plan has finally been approved, $900 billion deal that we've been hearing about, which is not so great, but, it's a compromise. We have divided government. Everybody's going to be a little bit pissed off about it. In fact, some people say that's how you know it's a good plan, when everybody walks away saying that they're not totally happy with it. I'm not sure about that, but that's what people say. So what's in the plan? What's not in the plan? How does this benefit or hurt the people who listen to our program?
Yeah, so here's what's happening with the program as we understand it right now. So there will be $600 stimulus checks that are coming out. Now, interestingly enough, which is really weird, Trump actually wanted more money to be given directly to the American people. The Republicans in the House did not want it because they claim that they're trying to protect the deficit. So the plan, as we understand it right now, is only $900 billion. The Democrats had actually put out a plan that was about $3 trillion, cut back to $2 trillion. The Republicans wouldn't do it. This plan has been fought over for the last 6-7 months. The HEROES Act, which is what the Democrats put out back in June, as the second stimulus, or third, actually would have been the fourth stimulus, the Republicans refused to vote on. I guess they didn't want to do it during election season and have their people hold them against it. Of course, if they give their people direct money, they could claim that they did it, and it would have been great, but they didn't do that. So $600 coming out in direct payments, $300 per week for up to 11 weeks, beginning the week of December 27th, for extended federal unemployment benefits. So this is on top of state benefits that people get. It will be money plus an additional $300 per week to help people who are, still unemployed as a result of COVID-19. There will be some money coming, a lot of money coming in will impact vaccines. So the money will go to support vaccines. There are also some other things that they did in there. They got rid of several programs with the Federal Reserve that were designed to be about $450 million that was set aside in the Federal Reserve. I'm sorry, $450 billion that was set aside in the Federal Reserve for small business loan projects that were never used. So they took some of that money and put it in there. The problem they had, there was a big tie-up, and Pat Toomey actually in Pennsylvania was part of the problem. Pat Toomey just wanted to basically gut the programs and then make it so that the programs could not be used again. But would have tied the hands of the Biden administration from doing any form of economic stimulus using the Federal Reserve. So there was a big fight with the Democrats back and forth with Toomey about this. Eventually, it came down to they're cutting the programs as it stands right now. The programs as they are identified at this moment cannot be renewed, but it does not stop the Federal Reserve from being able to use its lending power in the future to be able to help stimulate the economy. So there was a compromise that was done on that. And then there are a couple other smaller things that are quite as relevant to, what's going to happen directly to our listeners. I mean, there's more money there will be another paycheck protection program coming out to help.
Oh, good. So the rich can get some more
Absolutely.
Paycheck for some more PPP loans.
Yeah, more PPP loans that can be
the Los Angeles Lakers can get another loan.
That's right. And
Joel Osteen's church.
With that $4.4 million that they got.
Because that's a struggling small church. So unlike the churches we know, where people could have like really used it because they have to hire, administrative assistants, parking lot folk. But of course, Joel needed it because somebody got to pay for that gas with that plane, bro.
That's right. That's right.
Jesus.
So there'll be another, I think it was a $300 billion for the Paycheck Protection loan out there. So what wasn't in there was direct money to states and municipalities, but there's a belief that the Biden administration will pick that up on the first, and that'll be one of the first things that they do. So there'll be another stimulus bill coming out probably late January, early February that will make up the difference. And a lot of it depends on what happens down in Georgia in terms of, what kind of stimulus it is, whether it's going to be an austerity stimulus plan or whether it will be a liberal stimulus plan that will be able to help really stimulate the economy.
Yeah, well, listen, speaking of Georgia, I was there this weekend and, just doing a lot of this GOTV work, man. Another Black Bikers vote run down in Columbus, Georgia. Great turnout, just a lot of energy here in the state. Just tons and tons and tons of work being done on both sides, honestly. There's a lot of money being spent, and it's working because already 1.3 million Georgians have voted early, and early voting just started 1 week ago, last Monday. And so 1.3 million have already voted in a state that only 5 million people voted in the general election. So they're on track. Remember, they always have runoffs, and they're typically really, really low turnout events. This is on track of matching, if not exceeding, the presidential election, if you can believe that or not. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will be here today, and so it's a lot going on. But listen, let's take a quick commercial. Yeah, let's take a quick commercial break. Yeah, just for the afternoon. So let's take a quick commercial break, and boy, I'm telling you, just a lot to try to get to in the next 40 minutes. But we'll be right back. This is the Power Hour. No time for your phone calls today. I'm sorry, but perhaps on tomorrow. Bishop Dwayne David Royster and myself, Mark Kelly Tyler. We'll be right back.
This message is from the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. COVID-19 is still a threat in our communities, but we can all do something simple to help stop the spread. It's critically important to wear a mask or face covering whenever you're in public or around others. Yes, even while social distancing. Wearing a mask shows you care for yourself and your community and is essential to slowing the spread of COVID-19. So love yourself, love your neighbors, wear a mask.
1 month, 25 bold ideas. A more just, equitable, and prosperous Philadelphia. Join speakers like Reverend Michael Eric Dyson, MSNBC anchor Ali Velshi, LAPD Sergeant-turned-police reformer Cheryl Dorsey, author and poverty fighter Wes Moore, Black Thought of the Roots, and WURD's own Charles Ellison for the Philadelphia Citizens' 3rd Annual Ideas We Should Steal Festival. Presented by Comcast NBC Universal, Tuesdays throughout December. Find out more and reserve your spot at thePhiladelphiaCitizen.org/Ideas We Should Steal Festival. For WURD members, check your email for discounts and complimentary access details.
Did you know you can catch the flu and COVID-19 at the same time or even back to back? Don't risk catching the flu during the COVID-19 pandemic. The flu shot is a safe and effective way of reducing your chances of catching the flu or spreading it to others. And the flu shot helps protect you and your community from the worst effects of the flu. Don't say, I should have got my flu shot. Call your doctor or visit your pharmacist and get your flu shot today.
WURD Radio would like to thank everyone who made our 2020 Empowerment Experience a tremendous success. Special thanks to our sponsors, PICO, Keystone First, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Einstein Healthcare Network, TML Communications, and Dedicated Senior Medical Center. Thank you to all of the guests, hosts, participants, staff, and listeners who helped us to honor radio icon Cody Anderson. For more information on the 2020 Empowerment Experience and for on-demand content, visit wordradio.com. You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour with Mark Kelly Tyler and Dwayne David Royster. We're here Monday through Fridays from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest news, happenings around Philadelphia, and, of course, our opinions. We appreciate all your sensitivity to our slight delay today getting started, but we are here and up and rolling. We ask you please to go ahead and hit that share button on your Facebook page and share out our program today. And if you're listening on YouTube, I don't know if there's a share function on YouTube, but if you're on YouTube, please feel free to share as well. Thank you to all everybody that's already online and putting in their comments this morning. We appreciate you and look forward to engaging with you at some point in the show. All right, sir.
Yeah, man. So my Christmas will be in quarantine, obviously, traveling. And it's all good, though. I mean, where you going to go? Nobody's coming outside. So, but that means that I'll be watching a lot of Netflix over the next few weeks. And Robert Garland posted on Facebook that Steve McQueen's Lover Rock is brilliant. He said he's watched it for the third time. And so let me tell you what I watched over the weekend. And this is the cool thing about, when you're traveling now, Netflix, you can watch it with other people.
That's right.
So Leslie and I watched yesterday Ma Rainey's
Black
Bottom.
Yeah.
Bruh. Oh, man. Let me tell you, first of all, Viola Davis ought to get an Academy Award. First of all, this thing should get multiple Academy Awards, okay? It should get cinematography. I mean, literally the camera work is incredible of Chicago in the early 20th century, panning the streets when there's a scene in the beginning where they're just walking through the streets. It's just, it's amazing. You feel literally like you have been transported there. Not to mention just the acting. I mean, Glenn Turnman, forget the brother's name, who was in Fear the Walking Dead, but he's a great actor. Of course, Chadwick Boseman's last turn. And, it's just an incredible performance. Great script because it's August Wilson, right, and Denzel is behind it.
Oh, wow.
I have a feeling that Denzel and Viola, hooked up on Fences, also an August Wilson piece. I have a sense now that they're going to probably produce most of his work.
Yeah.
And as they should do. But if you've seen it, just post in the chat what your impressions were. I watched it primarily because all of my friends, well, I won't say all, but a lot of my friends on my timeline just kept posting Black Bottom is just, watched it already 5 times.
Right.
It was like that.
I have not seen it yet. As a matter of fact, this weekend was Suzette's birthday on Saturday. So we
birthday, First Lady.
Yeah, it was her birthday. It's her 56th birthday. I could say that because she was posting it everywhere. So we were out celebrating and actually wound up in Baltimore at this place called Miracle on 34th Street. It's a whole city block that actually decorates their block for Hanukkah and Christmas. And it's like a big deal in Baltimore, and everybody comes through and go check out all the houses and everything.
I don't mean to correct you on air, but it's not Hanukkah.
What did I say?
It's not how you pronounce it. It's not how you pronounce it. Smokey Robinson, the Smokey Robinson, has informed us all that it's actually pronounced Chanukah.
All right, Smoke. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, we'll stick with Hanukkah. So
happy Chanukah to all my Jewish friends. I want to send that to all my rabbi friends. Saturday Night Live just killed Smokey over the weekend. I actually stay up to date with stories that I've missed from SNL, and they literally just, they captured it perfectly. He literally said that he was reading. I don't know, man. I don't know what he was doing, but he said, "And happy Chanukah."
Happy Chanukah. Lord have mercy. Happy Chanukah. That's funny. That's very funny.
That's the tears of the clown.
There you go. There you go. So anyway.
Hey, so let me tell you this real quick. So this is they don't call them Proud Boys for nothing.
Oh Lord. What did they do now?
Because they're proud. So of course you had to imagine that those 2 acts in Washington D.C. A couple of weeks ago, that led to the burning of a Black Lives Matter banner off of Asbury United Methodist Church,
Yeah.
and the tearing down and ripping up of a banner off of Metropolitan AME Church. You had to believe that at some point those were going to be lifted up as federal hate crimes.
Right.
Because obviously, you know, got a group of folk who are out here promoting white supremacy and doing acts of violence against Black churches. And there is a heightened sensitivity. I mean, must I remind folk about the Mother Emanuel 9, right?
That's right.
And so these things are extremely sensitive. You begin with inanimate objects, as I continue to say, and then you work your way up until you're attacking and killing people. And so you have to nip the stuff in the bud. So I'm wondering now if this is a ploy to try to move attention away from the majority of the white, you know, men who were part of this attack by one of the co-founders, who happens to be a Black Cuban.
Right.
Enrique Tarrio.
I thought they kicked him out.
Well, he was in Parler, you know, that's the new anti-Twitter, saying, basically taking responsibility for lighting the banner on fire from Asbury, and saying the statement actually says that he does it, and I'm paraphrasing now, that he's making the statement against his attorney's wishes, but that he did it, and that he's quote unquote damn proud that he did it, and that it was not an act of hate, it was actually an act of love.
Wow.
So my question, initially my thought was, why would he do this? But now I'm starting to think, well, because he is Black, and I'm using air quotes here.
Yeah.
His skin is Black, and so you take him before a jury on a federal hate crime act of, you know, doing a hate crime against Black people. The jury is kind of like sitting there stuck, like, what do we do with this? So is this an attempt, I wonder, to deflect from all the white folk who were there with the lighters? And because I didn't even see, I looked at the video repeatedly. I didn't see him light anything.
No,
I saw a white guy there with lighter fluid continually keeping it going.
Yeah, I didn't see him light anything either. And I actually have to go through. I actually joined Parler for this very reason, to go sneak around and figure out who's doing what and saying what. So I am going to go find out exactly what he's saying. But yeah, I looked at those videos several times, and I didn't see anybody that looked like they had any melanin in their skin have anything to do with those Black Lives Matter banners. As a matter of fact, Asbury had a service just this past Friday where the bishop from the United Methodist Church was present, and they rolled out a new sign and put it back up in front of the church and everything. And it was a bunch of clergy and lay folk from around the D.C. region that were out at that event. So, but I agree. I did not see anybody with any melanin in their skin out there lighting anything on fire.
Well, what was interesting is as they're burning this Black Lives Matter flag off of a Black church, they're shouting the expletive that begins with the letter F, excuse me. And they're saying, you know, blank Antifa, blank Antifa. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what's that got to do with this Black church and their Black Lives Matter sign?
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, it's literally one of these, well, yes, like Black folk are continually stuck between these two extreme groups. Like, keep our name out your mouth. What we got to do with y'all?
We got to knock the taste out their mouth. That's what we got to do. I mean, that's the old expression. That's definitely a problem that we have, that we're consistently tied into Antifa. When, you know, Black Lives Matter and other organizations are distinctly their own, have their own culture, their own identity, their own way of viewing the world, that is unique to, Antifa. And I think that there were Black folk that would probably be like, we're not really down with Antifa. So, because Antifa is really anarchist, right? They're anti-fascist, but they're also anarchists at the same time. So, which has a whole different culture to it as well.
Man, this is like crazy. Well, and Kenrick makes the point, 2 points. One is, Smokey's not a young man. Respect our elders. Of course I respect Smokey, but that is hecka funny. Chinooka. I'm sorry. Smokey, you have I'm not even going to go there. Let's just say Smokey should have known better. He's heard of Hanukkah before, I'm sure. But the other point, though, is that Kendrick says not all white supremacists are white, which is true. People who carry out the agenda of white supremacy can be of all stripes. We know this to be true. But again, I'm raising the question that, is this a strategy on their part, thinking that it makes it more difficult for the feds to make a case if he is, quote unquote, black, and you're going before a jury and it's like, Your Honor, couldn't have been a hate crime because after all, I'm black. Now that it's convenient.
If I'm the federal prosecutor, I bring out the videos of multiple angles that were taken at both of these things, subpoena those videos from Facebook and other places, and then ask him to point himself out.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Please,
well,
point to yourself in any of these pictures right here, right? Point to yourself, because they're not wearing face masks. So please point to yourself in any one of these pictures to let us know which one you are.
Well, I hate to say because y'all always jump on me, but he is light-skinned.
I mean, he's like, he ain't that light. He ain't that light. So,
Lord have mercy.
Well, it's going to start on Facebook now. I see you brought it up. It's going to start.
I'm just saying he is light-skinned. He is of a light-skinned persuasion. This Cuban black man. But honestly, man, this is so. Since we're in D.C., can we at least? I think we have to at least talk about your president.
I was waiting to talk about this all morning. So there's a couple of things for him right now. So I'm like, jeez.
Yeah. Well, my man is so the attorney, is it Sidney Powell?
Sidney Powell, yes.
Who was she was too extreme for Rudy Giuliani.
Right.
Right. I mean, this is when Giuliani was, making his greatest hits. So when Giuliani says, "Look, you're like a wacko," Giuliani, who is a wacko, says to somebody else that kind of tells you, I guess, kind of like
it takes one.
Yeah, exactly.
It really does.
Kind of tells you where she's coming from. And so apparently they got into a big shouting match in the Oval Office over the weekend, according to reports. Now Trump is tweeting out that this is all fake news, but all the reports all continue to say that she and Mike Flynn, former general, convicted felon, Trump pardon recipient, that they are suggesting that he should consider martial law to overturn the election.
Absolutely. And he's actually considering it. It's the advisors that work in the White House that are trying to stop this from happening. That Trump is down with claiming martial law, declaring the election invalid, and just doing some crazy stuff. Sidney Powell, he wanted to appoint Sidney Powell as a special counsel to investigate voting irregularities in the states that Trump lost.
Wow.
And there's people pushing back saying you can't do that, but he is actually seriously contemplating. And I wouldn't be surprised if during the holiday season we don't see something like this happen, to be frank with you. Very frank.
You would think that, no, come on, man.
Look, they picked up the Pennsylvania. They're suing Pennsylvania again.
Well, they like suing us. And we like it.
Suing us in Supreme Court. They've asked for expedited case so that it can be heard in the Supreme Court. They're coming after Pennsylvania again, trying to invalidate the vote in the state, and in particular going after about the 11,000 votes that came in the 2 days after election, and basically trying to invalidate that. They're also claiming that the Pennsylvania Supreme Court used judicial they created their own laws by interpreting the Act 77 law the way that they did, which is the law that extended voting operations in the state of Pennsylvania. So they're coming after Pennsylvania at the same time in a new lawsuit. And actually, the interesting thing about this is that they have Republican legislators that put up the Act 77 that are actually behind this as well, saying that they interpreted the law outside of the way that it was intended to be written in the first place. So in the way it was intended to be applied in the first place, which could give them some leverage. So I think that this could be a challenge. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court is a Democratic court, 7 justices, 5 of them are Democrat, 2 of them are Republican. So there is some tension about, could the U.S. Supreme Court, considering the way it leans, which is 6-3, 6 Republicans, six appointed by Republicans, 3 appointed by Democrats, could it eventually happen that the U.S. Supreme Court does potentially throw out some of the votes in Pennsylvania as a result of this? I don't know. I think that the bottom line is the Electoral College has counted, even if they threw out Pennsylvania's 20 electoral votes, Joe Biden still wins. But I think that this is more of an issue of Trump's ego, because Biden has the exact same number of electoral votes that he won when he won his election last time. So I think that
that he said was a landslide.
That he said was a landslide. Yeah. So that's where that is. Now I don't know. I have not heard about whether he's going after Arizona or whether he's going after, he's probably going to go after Georgia still, but whether he's going after Wisconsin or Michigan or, any of the other states that went in this direction. But he is really focused in on Pennsylvania in a big way.
Well, as he always has been, he campaigned here. I'm not sure if this was the most campaigned state in his 4 years as president, but it seems like it. Every time I looked around, he was somewhere out in the middle of the state. Ironic that he was never in Philadelphia, given how much he says black folk love him and how much he has done for us. He never came here to get the love. DJT, why you ain't come get the love, man? We love you. You've done so much for us, right? Good Lord. One thing's for sure, you brought us together. We love that about you. We really love that. You brought us so close together in a way that nobody else quite could. Remember, we were all at odds with each other 4 years ago. Yeah. Black progressives, black moderates.
Yes, you and I were back then.
Oh yeah, remember we having all these feisty debates about Hillary versus Bernie, and
yes.
But Donald, we love you because you have created the Black Family Reunion, and there's still white people out there who follow him who believe in what he says. He's done more for black people than Abraham Lincoln, perhaps. God, simple. All right, we got to take a quick break. And Raphael, I'm not fooling with you in your light-skinned debate. El DeBarge looking black dudes all over East Africa. Oh, God. Yes, this is a result of colonization. We know that there are light-skinned black people in Africa. Oh, God, I love you all. And thank you, Sheila. Yes, the C in Hanukkah, when it's placed there periodically, will trip you up. I probably would have gotten tripped up like Smokey. But again, it's the tears of a clown. We'll be right back on the other side of the break with the Power Hour.
COVID-19 affected many things this year, including regular vaccinations. Vaccines are safe, effective, and protect against serious diseases. Make sure you and your family are up to date on all vaccinations. Together, we can keep each other safe and healthy. Let's stay protected together. Get vaccinated today. For more information, visit health.pa.gov. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
I'm Councilwoman Cindy Bass. Please stay home to stop the spread of COVID-19. The more people that stay at home and social distance, the more chance we have to stop the spread. We know everybody can't stay home all the time. If you have a job that's essential, you need to go to the grocery store or get medical care, please maintain your social distance of 6 feet. Wear a mask to cover your face. We have to work together. Stop the spread, stay home, and save lives. For more information, visit www.phila.gov/COVID-19.
WURD Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation as we continue to navigate the pandemic together.
Hi, this is Helana, your resident health and wellness coach, with tips to help you stay well. Many of us have heard this term before, but may not know what it really means. Compassionate living brings mindfulness and peace to the center of your daily life. Compassionate living can look like this. Number 1, be gentle with yourself and those around you. Number 2, choose to speak kindly to others, even when you're upset. Number 3, become a good listener and practice empathy at home and at work. We sometimes think in order to live with compassion, we have to become someone else. Not so. In fact, allowing peacefulness to be at the center of our daily interactions is something we can practice every day. Go ahead and try it today. Stay well with WURD. Happy living.
Stay well with WURD. Connect with us at wordradio.com. Livelihood. The new initiative from WURD Radio, connecting Philadelphians to jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey. Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report's sponsored by Merrill. Looking at southbound 95, Cotman down through Bridge. Some volume through that construction zone. Again, Allegheny through Girard, a bit slow. Northbound side, not bad. Westbound Vine Lake Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill westbound, jamming University through the Vine. Down to one lane there, again, through ongoing construction. Eastbound 76, looking good. Looking at the PA Turnpike, no major problems there. An accident being worked on now. Platte Bridge, it's on the eastbound side of the Platte Bridge. Watch for crews there this morning. 42, 55, 295 in New Jersey. Not bad yet into Philadelphia. Not a bad ride on the area bridges. With Merrill Guided Investing, you have the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Get started at merrilledge.com/investing goals. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour with Mark Kelly Tyler and Dwayne David Royster. Hey, WURD listeners, you want to buy black for the holidays? We've got you covered. WURD Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. You just got a few days left to get your holiday presents in, whether it's Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, which is ending soon. But you can feel free to go to wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com marketplace and get your holiday gifts. Support black businesses, small black businesses here in Philadelphia and beyond. Let me just say this before you jump in there. So there's a debate going on about the skin tone of people in Africa. Africa, see, I learned this in biology when I was in high school. Africans are the only race of people that can produce any color individuals. They can produce people of all different races and hues. So because of dominant and recessive genes, the mix of dominant and recessive genes, we can produce different skin tones, different eye colors, different hair colors, different all those things. So please, it's a matter of biology, folks. It's a matter of biology that we're actually able to produce people of all different skin tones across the spectrum. So I just wanted to share that with you.
It's what we do.
Yes.
And no, Raphael, I don't take you too seriously. Trust me. No, that's quite the opposite. You need your own segment on this show. You tell us what day and what time, and you'll get your own segment. And then it'll be followed by Tawanda. Yeah. I wish you'd get Sheriff Bilal on here. She's watching this morning. What's up, Sheriff?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right. So you just laid that out. Christmas time to buy gifts.
Mm-hmm.
So whether people celebrate as active Christians or not, it don't matter. Everybody's looking for a gift, right?
That's right.
And yeah, Raphael, I know you got facts to verify everything you say. I got you. Yeah, so do I. It's not the facts, it's the interpretation. So anyhow, everybody has $600, right? Coming. Thanks to the stimulus plan. Democrats wanted to give everybody $1,200. In fact, Democrats, if you go back, really wanted to give everybody $2,000 when this first started.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to do it on a regular basis. Some countries actually did, throughout the pandemic, pay their citizens like a stipend of $2,000 each for adults to help keep the economies going. And those countries are doing pretty well. Absolutely. Of course, you're going to have debt, but people are still spending, so that then it feeds itself. Yeah. We've gone the opposite direction and tried to starve this thing away. Now, if I am the Democrats, right, and I'm in Georgia right now, The only message that I have is, you want to know the difference between us? You're about to see it directly. When you get that check and you say, whoa, 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 what happened? I got $1,200 a few months ago. I only got $6 now? Yes. Thank Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue. They cost you $600. And if you're a family, that's more, right? So if you're spouses, that costs you $1,200 right there, that you could have at a time when you most desperately need it, going into the holidays, after this long year of people being cut off. That is the only message to hammer home. It is the economy, stupid. Now, down in Georgia, I will tell you, a lot of the ads on TV are trying to tie Warnock to being a quote-unquote radical, and they're trying to tie Ossoff to being communist, because apparently he was paid by some Chinese firm for doing something. I don't know. I mean, and so all of a sudden that makes him communist, even though if you're an American, you're in business nowadays, you have to do business with China, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and so, but they're trying to tie them both as like these communist radicals. They're tying. I can't tell you how many times I've seen the commercial with Warnock praising Jeremiah Wright's sermon on from 9/11, and the controversial for some. It's not really controversial if you listen to the sermon in context. So once again, taking a sermon out of context and then taking his response to the sermon out of context, and trying to wrap these two. The only way to fight that again is to hit people where it counts. It's money. I think people care more about their own pocketbooks personally than they do about whether or not they think these two people are too quote unquote radical.
So, they should be feeling very bad. Perdue, if he was smart right now, would be one of the Republicans that's jumping up and down with Trump and saying, give them more money, give them more money. He's not doing that. And that is problematic. This is the United States. I think sometimes it's so arrogant, they wind up hurting themselves. We had the money. We could have done a universal basic income. Thanks to, what's his name that was running for Andrew Yang, who was running for, president of the Democratic Party. The notion of, universal basic income could have easily been rectified. Could have put money into people's hands very easily. He had laid it out. He had been talking about it around the country. We could have really stimulated our economy, really stimulated business, even during the during COVID this last year, and we could come out of this in a very different place right now. But we just did not have the wherewithal to do that. And our Republicans, I don't know why they're so mean. I just don't understand. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, Republicans are just mean people, and I don't get it. I don't get why they're so mean, why they are just that arrogant. People who claim to have this form of faith, that lack generosity, that lack care of people, that lack the ability to be able to see the best in individuals. They're just mean folk, period. A lot
why?
of people are just mean.
Well, let me just say this. So, all right, let's take a biblical text here.
Come on now.
You remember the prodigal son?
Yes, sir.
That shows you, in a nutshell, kind of liberals versus conservatives, no matter what you call their parties. The son who goes off and lives the wild life, hits rock bottom, comes home humbled. Dad comes out and greets him. He's just overwhelmed. He's going to always have empathy for others the rest of his life. The older brother, the story always ends. This is where I like to preach from it, because it's a lesson for all of us, myself included. The story ends with the older brother who's never done anything wrong, who will not go in the house to celebrate with his little wayward brother, because he's like, how dare you celebrate for him after he's spent all your money living wild? And so he stays outside angry with his arms folded. That tends to be the conservative that always says, pick yourself up by your own bootstrap, forgetting that you only have what you have because your daddy gave it to you.
That's right.
You inherited all that you have as well. And so I'm just saying that I think those two tensions are there. And when I hear conservatives today talk about, the reason that you don't want to give people direct paychecks is because somehow it's going to make them lazy. It's like McConnell. There are only 100 senators, and the last time I checked, every last one of you is a millionaire.
Absolutely.
How are 100 millionaires going to debate how people, as Asa Khalif just posted in here, rent's going up. Most people's renting 700, and you going to give them 600 at the end of the year? There's no empathy.
I mean, honestly, I keep wanting to say, what am I supposed to do with $600? Right? I'm just like,
right. That's what I keep saying. I'm like,
and I mean,
really?
for some people, and the reason I don't say it is because for some people that is a lot of money, and that can be very significant. But at the same time, I'm like, that's not covering people's rent. It's not covering car. It's not even covering basic transportation. If you have to take SEPTA somewhere every single day, you are spending a lot of money to be able to do that. So I just don't know why. I don't understand, why they're being so cheap when it comes to being able to support people in this particular moment. It's just very painful, very painful.
Well, and I think that it's going to hurt them. I really do. And I mean, and good for them. I hope that they lose both those Senate seats, because it would have been so easy. Just common sense says, Mitch McConnell, if you want to hold those seats, just throw the money out there. Who cares at this point? As John Street, former mayor, always says, if it were him, I love him. He always says, I'd be spending money like a drunken sailor. Right? So right now, they need to be spending money like drunken sailors. One last thing, and we'll talk about this tomorrow. I can't believe, so in Georgia, it's almost 33% black. That's why this race is going to be so close. But in Mississippi and Louisiana, the percentage is even higher. Almost 38% black folk in Mississippi, and Mike Espy never had a shot. I don't understand it, but I think if Georgia pushes Raphael into the Senate seat, that we're going to be looking at different kind of candidates in Louisiana and Mississippi. Stop going for the ultra conservative, moderate Democrat, and go harder to the left. And again, talk about how this benefits people directly. We need more than $600. I rest my case.
Let me just say something real quick about Louisiana and Mississippi. They have laws that prevent people that have had felony convictions from being able to vote, which is why the numbers are jacked up there. So there's a large black population, but a lot of them are not able to actually be enfranchised and vote in the election. So just so you give you a little heads up about what's happening with that down there. So
all right.
All right. Well, listen, everybody, thanks for checking us out on the Power Hour today, the abridged version. We deeply appreciate you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest in news, happenings around Philadelphia, and, of course, our opinions. Thank you, Kawesa, for holding it down on the board. Thank you, Dr. Tyler. Everybody that jumped in on both YouTube and Facebook, we deeply appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow. Stay tuned for Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. Go out, change the damn world, because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.
Weight on my shoulder.